Hi, welcome to Midwest Magic Cleaning. My name is... In American, that's Jim Smith, but I pronounced it in its original Turkish. Today, we're going to talk about two things that genuinely bother me and probably every other cleaning channel that exists on YouTube. And that is the word lazy and to a certain extent the word motivation. Though I don't live there anymore, I grew up in a town that was, what is the polite way to put this? Technically educated, meaning that they had the paper to show that they graduated high school, but that town was dominated by people who were unnecessarily aggressive and who looked for any reason whatsoever to blame people for a situation that they were in. And you know the people I'm talking about. Like maybe you're a couple $100 short on rent because you had some sort of catastrophe happen during the month, and maybe you ask for help, or maybe you just vent about it because you're going to be able to take care of it yourself. And in response, the person says, well, I make less than you do or exactly the same amount as you do, and I don't have money problems. I can pay my rent every month. And they don't understand that really basic concept that you should learn when you're like 10 years old, which is that people are not carbon copies of each other. Your lives are not a one-to-one comparison. Or maybe you complain about the lack of sleep that you got the night before and say, man, I slept till like noon today. I was so tired. And their response will be, well, I was up till like 3 a.m. working on a cure for cancer, and I was still up at 6 a.m. These are the kind of people who get off on the concept of blame. On this channel and every single other free cleaning channel that I know of, they constantly have to deal with a small handful of people who look at what we're doing and blame the people we're helping for being lazy. They'll call them pigs and slobs. And even if we go into great detail about how we typically only help people who have mental disabilities or ADHD or autism, they'll get angry that we're quote unquote making excuses for the people who are living in these situations. It is an incredibly childlike response to a situation that they don't understand. And the thing that drives me a little bit crazy is that because I exclusively help people who have what I just mentioned, hoarding disorder, ADHD, autism, mental disabilities, physical disabilities, those type of people see me cleaning houses and assume that I'm just cleaning every house in my area and assigning an excuse to their behavior. It's like walking into an emergency room and then telling the nurse or the doctor who's on duty, why is everyone you come in contact with hurt? Just tell them to get their ass up and walk. Every time somebody comes in here, your diagnosis is that they're hurt and they need treatment. Stop babying these people and tell them to get up and walk. Well, it's because it's an emergency room and they solely deal with people who are hurt. They're not just walking into a random house and saying, you're hurt, here's some pills and some stitches. This is now your excuse to sit on your couch and relax. So what gets to me is that there's so much anger and vitriol behind those comments. Comments toward people who they don't know, they never will, and they have no idea about their actual situation beyond what I've told them in the video. There's so much judgment based on so little information that it actually makes me angry to see things like that. So let me give you an example of that. I did a video several months ago called something like how to make your house look fancy even if you're broke. In that video, I explained what depression was, how it can lead to a house looking like this, and explained that the occupants of the house had gone through extensive periods of depression. There were 2 overwhelming comments on that I have deleted by the literal thousands since that video had gone up. One of those was something to the effect of, you can be poor but still be clean, even though they're literally watching a cleaning channel that's called Midwest Magic Cleaning. And the other one was this personality that likes to fill in the gaps with some made-up stories. So I got a lot of people, again, by the thousands, who were saying things like, yeah, they're poor, but they still have a fancy PC, 2 video game consoles, a big flat screen TV, a name brand fancy couch. They're literally making up stories because I bought 100% of that as gifts for Christmas. Again, because I know the people who live there. If I didn't outright buy every single piece of electronics in that house, then it was handed down when I upgraded my own. But it doesn't stop people from going into that blame mode. And the people who have that sort of personality will do anything to justify their anger. They'll say things like, yeah, they're not poor, they're sitting there with like $1,000 PC. Correction, listen, it's a $2,500 PC. I know because I bought it for them. Never let facts get in the way of a good superiority complex. That's what Grandma used to always tell me. And I think that when I ask for empathy from viewers, there are a small handful of people who confuse the word empathy for excuse. So I want to clear something up right off the bat. I want to let you know that empathy does not mean that you're excusing people's behavior. It means that you've made any attempt at all to understand it. When you use words like lazy, pigs, or slobs, you're looking to assign blame or fault. And that's one of the reasons that I moved out of my original hometown, because that whole town was filled with people who didn't try to help, didn't try to empathize, they tried to blame. It's like they got off on blaming the person for a situation rather than saying, well, how do we help and how do we prevent this from happening again? So if you go into any cleaning channel, not just mine, and your natural reaction is to either assign blame and judge the person and call them names and get angry, or your reaction is to nitpick the person who's cleaning for free, who's actually doing the help for someone who desperately needs it. So for instance, you're like, well, why didn't you pull out the stove? Why didn't you do this? I noticed you missed this spot. You're the problem. I promise you that in everyday life, you are the person who people simply tolerate. I don't want you to go through life like that any more than I want the people I'm helping to go through life living in just this miserable pit of despair that's covered in trash. And getting mad at those people and blaming them and calling them lazy and trying to assign blame is an emotional garbage pit. Now, does that mean I'm saying that lazy people don't exist? No, that's insanity to even consider something like that. I've done over 200 videos on this channel. Of those 200 videos, I've ran into exactly 2 people who were lazy. I clean their house anyway because it helps them, and it doesn't mean that lazy people don't ever deserve help. But if I've done, let's say, 220 videos and 2 of those were genuinely lazy people, it means less than 1% of the people I help fit that criteria or fit that definition. And that inevitably leads to people asking me things like, well, how do you know if you're really helping somebody versus somebody who just wants to take advantage of what you do for free? The no BS answer to that is I'm not an idiot. I know whenever I talk to people and I get their backstories, I don't just dive into their house and start cleaning. I talk to them first. I know who's being lazy and I know who's needing genuine help. If I get the sense that somebody's just wanting a free cleaning, I don't take it on. I have had requests for help from people who have bought a new house and just want it deep cleaned before they bring their own stuff in, and they don't want to hire somebody to do that. And I will just politely not answer their emails. I'm not doing that for somebody. Just hire your own damn housekeeper. That's not what I do. I've had people say, well, I've got an old spare bedroom that's got a bunch of junk in it. I've needed to clean that out forever. Well, does it have a bunch of junk in it because that's just where you threw things temporarily and you were meaning to clean it out at some point in your life? Or does it have a bunch of junk in it because you have a crippling fear of throwing away a good cardboard box? There's a difference. One is I don't feel like doing it right now. And the other is it freaks me out to even go through this, to even open the door, because it triggers a whole bunch of like PTSD and bad memories. One of those I'll help with. The other I will not. But to get mad at people you've never met before and call them names and get irrationally agitated because their room looks a specific way, that's a problem with you and not the person I'm helping. I'll help them with their house. You get help for the thing that exists in your head. Because to go into that name calling and that unnecessary anger and aggression is like you picking up the trash in your living room, taking it to your neighbor's house and just flinging it into there. It's emotional garbage. And to me, it's lazy and dishonest to not deal with that. Now, that's not to say that there aren't people who just can't make themselves get up and clean. That there's no real disorder. There may be a fear of cleaning. It may look overwhelming. And they're waiting for quote unquote motivation to clean. And I've got a little bit of a problem with the word motivation because I think that a lot of people think that motivation means excitement when it's actually just a fancy word for reason. So I think people confuse motivation for inspiration or in the mood to clean, but you already have motivation. You already have the reason for cleaning. I don't want my house to look like this anymore. I want my house to look nice. I want my house to be healthy. Now, that may seem like semantics, just a slightly different variation of the word, but I think it's important to know because it can change your perspective. And perspective is everything when it comes to organizing chaos, which is basically what cleaning is. It's organizing chaos and then killing germs. So if you're one of those people who think of the word motivation to mean you're waiting for inspiration to hit, you're waiting for excitement to hit, you're waiting to be enthusiastic about cleaning, I think you're doing yourself a huge disservice. Because when you do that, you're waiting for something to strike you rather than you seeking that out. And let's face it, we're doing things that suck by cleaning. Cleaning sucks, typically. You got to be some special kind of weirdo to really enjoy it. You need to be like me or Ari Katarina or Bonnie or Barbie. And yes, we are all weird, just in a good way. But if you're waiting on something to strike you, the motivation to just hit you like a bolt of lightning, you're going to be waiting long periods of time before that happens. Because you almost need to be in a manic state in order for that to exist. My suggestion is that you already have the most basic definition of motivation. I want my house to be clean. That's your motivation. The excitement comes from outside of cleaning. Put on your favorite music. If you need a body double, invite your best friend over so you can gossip. Hire a male stripper to dance in the background while you're cleaning. Hell, I'll do it. $20 is $20, man. But the whole point of doing that is that if you get excited because you got fun music on and you're dancing around or you're talking to your friend and you're also cleaning while you're doing that, you will slowly start to associate cleaning with fun things, with a positive feeling. It's Pavlovian. The dogs didn't salivate because they were hungry to eat bells. They salivated because the bells meant they were going to get food. I do the cleanings that I do because I'm autistic and this is my special interest. However, I associate my cleaning with fun because I know I'm making a video out of it. I'm not just cleaning, I'm videoing it, and I like to do videos and editing and narration. I know that I'm going to get a lot of nice feedback. I know the videos are going to be seen by hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions of people. I know I'm going to make money from the videos, and I know that the person who I'm helping is going to be ecstatic whenever they come back in and see the new transformation. I associate all those positive feelings with cleaning, even though cleaning is still work and it's exhausting. You have to find something that's just as positive that happens while you're cleaning or as a direct result of your cleaning so that you're not waiting around for lightning to strike. And so you're aware, I'm not really just making this video for me. For those of you who are regulars on the channel, you know I've been going through autistic burnout and I have almost no energy and my mental capacity has diminished quite a bit. I'm getting better, but it has been so exhausting that there were days where I couldn't get out of my chair. So I'm kind of making this video for not just me, but for everyone else who does free cleaning on YouTube. These things are absolutely exhausting to make. So if you come into one of these videos and you start ripping on the person who we're helping and calling them names and getting angry at them, or worse, you start nitpicking the people who are actually helping for legitimately for free, and in a lot of cases paying hundreds and sometimes thousands of dollars out of their own pocket to help these people, then you become the problem that we have to deal with. And in most cases, it's just banning you from the channel. I have more than one friend right now who are going through physical and emotional breakdowns because of what this does to the body and the mind. It's not just cleaning, it's not just the expense, it's that whenever you're helping people, they use you as their therapist and they will tell you about the darkest shit you've ever heard in your entire life. They will tell you in great detail about assaults and abuse. They'll tell you about violence and neglect. They'll tell you that they are so far in the hole financially that within the next couple months they will likely be homeless. And if you were to help people out financially every single week, every time you make a video, you'd be spending $200,000 a year to get people out of the hole. So you just have to listen. And being autistic, I don't know what to say back to that stuff. But between that and the physical effort that it takes to get these houses clean and the $1,000, $1,500 I spend a week in order to get these things back into good condition, paying for dumpsters and cleaning supplies and gas and travel, food, doing repairs. Sometimes I replace whole beds because theirs isn't good enough to sleep on anymore. Between all that stuff, you come home, you put up the video, and then you have to weed out people who are just straight up malicious and get off on the dopamine rush rush of like mocking people and blaming them and getting angry at someone they've never met or never will meet. And that causes the people who do this work to break down eventually. For me, it's autistic burnout, and that's kind of my own fault because I go 100 hours a week on this channel. And again, I've got two friends who are going through full-blown breakdowns right now. I don't know any cleaning channel on YouTube who hasn't eventually at least once hit a point where they said, I can't do this anymore. I don't have the mental stamina. I don't have the physical stamina. I can't take the constant policing of the community. I'd be better off doing literally anything else. And one of the reasons I'm making this video is because, well, one, the burnout has caused me to not be able to clean this week. I will have another cleaning video coming up next week, but this week I'm too exhausted. But I always watch other cleaning channels. I obsess over them. And so when I saw Bonnie from A Beautiful Mess post a very necessary, very raw and real video this week of her in literal tears in the middle of a breakdown, I felt that it was really important to discuss these things and let you know how people get into this breakdown mode and how this can affect us physically and mentally, especially when we do it every single week. So after all that, even whenever people mean well and we go into the comments and we see certain things like, your voice is too scratchy. You sound really tired this week. You should put music over parts of the video. I almost didn't click on this because your thumbnails suck. Hey, can you not show toilets on the video anymore? They gross me out. Me personally, they gross me out. These little nitpicky, seemingly harmless comments by themselves don't mean much. But when they come in by the dozens or by the hundreds, especially on a channel like Clean with Barbie or me, who's got over 100,000 subscribers, I'm edging up on 600,000. They pile up over time and they get to you because it's constant. Like if you got shot in the arm with a BB gun, it would sting, but then it would go away. You get shot with 100 of them all at once, and now you've got injuries. I can take it for the most part because I just don't care that much about negativity, and I just hit the ban button and they're gone forever. Other people are really sensitive to it. And it does honestly make me mad when I see somebody like Clean with Barbie or A Beautiful Mess with Bonnie busting their asses to help people and charge them absolutely nothing and spend days or weeks there getting their house back in order, and then go into their comments and have to deal with this nitpicky, almost entitledness of people who may even think that they're trying to do, I don't know what you'd call it, constructive criticism, I guess. So that being said, I want this next message to be heard specifically by people who do what I do. For everybody who does free cleaning and everybody who makes videos, even if it's not free cleaning, if you make videos on YouTube, I want you to hear this message. Help people as much as you can. Make videos that you yourself want to watch. Immediately ban anyone from the comments who makes you feel bad. Take time off when you need it. And most importantly, if you take no other advice from this video, take this. Never ever take advice from someone who isn't where you want to be. And for the viewers, all I'm asking is for basic empathy for the people we're helping. Not to feel sorry for them, not to excuse their behavior. It's understanding how they got where they're at. And then that same amount of empathy for the people like us who are actually helping them. Why didn't this person pull out the stove and clean behind it? Because we're freaking exhausted, that's why. Why did you miss this particular spot on the sink? Because we're human. Aren't you afraid it's just going to get trashed again? No, it probably will get trashed again. What is that any of your business? Why would that make you not clean a house to begin with? Are you afraid that it's like wasted work? Because you're not the one cleaning the house. Anyway, I apologize if any of this sounds ranty. Again, I'm exhausted. I'm going through autistic burnout. I am getting better. I am going to be cleaning a brand new house, which is the worst in the channel's history. It is going to be a collaboration with Clean with Barbie, and it's happening in 4 days. I just wanted to be able to get on here and get this out of my system and kind of vent about it on behalf of all other cleaning channels, because I know a lot of them are kind of afraid to talk about stuff like this because either they don't know how to word it themselves or they're afraid they're going to offend people. I think the people who watch my channel know that I'm not really afraid of stuff like that. And I think about 99% of the people on my channel already are empathetic people. And though 1% may sound like a really small amount, I mean, and that's just 1 out of 100 people. If you have 100,000 people watch a video, then that 1% of negative becomes 1,000 people. That adds up really fast. I can take it. Some people can't. Anyway, be kind, be empathetic, and just make an attempt to be a better person. I used to be an angry guy and my life was miserable. But man, once I learned empathy, the world changed. That being said, if you guys have a few minutes, go over to A Beautiful Mess with Bonnie and let her know what you love about her. She gets enough nitpickiness to last a lifetime. I think she would really like to hear what you love about her channel. I'll leave a link in the description. Members, I will see you with an actual members video this coming Wednesday. Everybody else, I'll see you this weekend. Later.